Before we begin, I strongly recommend watching part 2 of this series first. That video walks you through a full model essay for Paper 3, Question 1, based on the May-June 2023 9093/31 exam paper. That's important because every single example in this video is taken directly from that paper. If you've already seen how the model essay works, this theory guide will make much more sense and be far more useful to you. You'll find the link in the description below. Language change doesn't just happen randomly, it follows patterns, spreads through communities, and responds to what speakers need. That's where theory comes in. In this video, we'll walk through the key theories and historical influences that explain how and why English changes. For each one, I'll give you a clear explanation, a real example from the past paper, and a model sentence you can use in your essays. Let's start with Crystal's tide metaphor. David Crystal compares language change to the movement of the tide. Old forms gradually wash away while new ones roll in. Importantly, he rejects the idea that any stage of English is better or worse than another. In text A, the word pantaloons appears as part of tailoring vocabulary. In the Ingram chart of text C, we can clearly see its decline and the rise of trousers. The two overlapped for some time, but eventually trousers became the standard. The disappearance of pantaloons and the rise of trousers reflects Crystal's view that older lexical items fade naturally as newer ones become more widely used. Now, Chen's S-curve model. This theory explains how language change spreads. A new word starts slowly, then spreads rapidly, and finally stabilizes once it becomes normal. In the Engram graph, we see trousers decline and trousers rise until it becomes dominant. That's the classic S-curve. The replacement of trousers with trousers follows Chen's S-curve, showing slow early adoption, rapid spread, and eventual standardization. Next, Aitchison's metaphors. She identifies 3 flawed ways people often talk about language change. The damp spoon view says change is due to laziness. The crumbling castle says English used to be perfect, but is now falling apart. The infectious disease metaphor compares change to a virus. Aitchison disagrees with all 3. She argues that change is natural and inevitable. In text A, we see the spelling anything written as 2 words. Some readers might see this as careless, but Aitchison would argue it's simply a natural variation. While the spelling anything might seem sloppy or incorrect today, Aitchison's metaphors remind us that these judgments often reflect prescriptive bias, not linguistic fact. Now Schmidt's wave model. This theory explains how change spreads gradually across groups, like ripples in a pond. Some speakers adopt the change early, others much later. In text A, we still see the older spelling trousers, even though trousers was rising in popularity. This shows that the change hadn't yet reached all communities. The continued use of trousers in 1833 supports Schmidt's wave model, showing how some speakers retain older forms while others move on. Let's look at Hockett's random fluctuation theory. Charles Hockett believed that some changes begin through random variation or error. These irregular forms might spread just by chance. In text A, we get the sentence, which make 5 measurements and is sufficient. There's a clear subject-verb disagreement here. This kind of inconsistency may not follow a pattern. It may simply reflect variation before full standardization. The mismatch in which make 5 measurements and is sufficient reflects Hockett's view that early language use often lacked fixed rules and could be shaped by accidental inconsistency. Next is Halliday's functional linguistics. Halliday argued that language evolves to meet the communicative needs of its users. It's not just about rules, it's about function. In text A, the focus is on giving clear instructions, even if some of the sentence structures are long or grammatically awkward. Despite inconsistencies, the instructional clarity in text A supports Halliday's view that grammar evolves to serve communication, not perfection. Another of Halliday's ideas is lexical gaps. This theory explains that when there's no word for something, we invent or borrow one. In the tailoring context of text A, terms like breeches and pantaloons once filled specific gaps in fashion language. Over time, those were replaced by simpler, more universal terms like trousers. Halliday's concept of lexical gaps explains the rise of broader terms like trousers, which replaced outdated vocabulary that no longer fit modern use. Now let's turn to Hartle and Clark's cultural transmission. This theory says that language is not inherited biologically, it's passed down socially. Language reflects cultural values, and as those values change, so does usage. In text A, the phrase "I flatter myself" would once have been seen as polite modesty. Today, it sounds self-important or even ironic. The reinterpretation of "I flatter myself" as insincere illustrates Hartle and Clark's idea that meaning shifts as language is passed between generations. Now let's explore the historical forces that shaped English. The printing press, introduced by Caxton in 1476, allowed mass production of texts and pushed towards spelling and punctuation consistency. Before printing, variations like anything were common. But with more readers and more published material, consistency became essential. The printing press helped drive the shift from anything to the modern compound anything. In 1755, Johnson's dictionary provided standardised spelling and definitions. It was one of the first major tools of codification. Many forms we consider standard today were promoted by Johnson's dictionary and printed repeatedly in formal contexts. The dominance of certain spellings can be traced back to Johnson's dictionary, which helped fix those forms in educational and institutional settings. Otto Jespersen believed English grammar had simplified over time to make communication more efficient. He celebrated this simplification as a natural development. In text A, long and complex sentence structures begin to break down into simpler forms. This reduction of grammatical complexity aligns with Jespersen's view that language evolves toward usability. Finally, colonialism and the global spread of English. As English travelled across the world through trade and empire, it absorbed words from many other languages and created new varieties. This led to the inclusion of loanwords and the rise of regional Englishes. Though not directly seen in the tailoring text, this process explains how English vocabulary expanded beyond its European roots. Let's recap. Each of these theories and historical influences gives you a framework for understanding how and why English changes. In the May-June 2023 paper, we saw clear examples of lexical replacement, grammatical inconsistency, orthographic variation, and pragmatic shift. These are exactly the kinds of features you should be supporting with theory in your essays. You can download a full chart of all the theories covered in this video using the link in the description. In the next video, we'll cover a past paper question on the topic of child language acquisition, Paper 3, Question 2. Stay tuned. And if you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and let me know what topic you want me to cover next. Paper 4? World Englishes? Let's do it.